Hello StarCraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between Mojo and VampyWorm on Prion Terraces. I apologize for the weird resolution my videos were at in the last couple casts that I've done. When I installed Legacy of the Void, it looked really weird, so I kind of messed around with the resolution and I forgot that I was doing so. And yes, it is now at 1920 by 1080. I apologize for the inconvenience and the weird kind of weird resolutions you've been watching the last week or so. Alright, in the bottom right of Prion Terraces, we have the red Zerg player. It is Mojo. And in the top left of Prion Terraces, we have the blue Protoss player. It is VampyWorm, representing Team Ascension. Again, quick plug, go ahead and visit my store. The link is in the description and in the end slate where the music plays at the end of my cast. They have some pretty awesome StarCraft 2 shirts, some pretty awesome Falcon Paladin shirts. And so yeah, give it a see. If you have any suggestions for the store, things you'd like to see pop up there, maybe things you want for Christmas or to give to people for Christmas, go ahead and let me know. And everybody will be happy that way. So PvZ on Prion Terraces. Nobody's corrected me to say that it's Prion Terraces, so I'm going to continue to call it Prion until I'd watch, I don't know, maybe an actual Blizzard cast or explanation of the map where the designer of the map calls it Prion Terraces, in which case I'll feel like an idiot. But for now, we're going to call it Prion Terraces because it just makes more sense to me. Trying to deny the expansion here is this drone. Usually we see this the other way around. Probes are trying to deny the second hatchery for Zerg, but instead, Mojo being very annoying indeed. VampyWorm cannot be pleased about this. Bringing out, yep, 2 probes in order to chase this guy away. Doing a pretty good job staying in the area where a Nexus cannot fall, but the angles are just too good for the probes. They're zapping, and there it is. Gets it down probably quicker than Mojo would have liked, but again, it is delayed, which is nice. The hatchery has been running up as long as it has, a little bit longer. Maybe the VampyWorm would prefer. Cybernetics core on the way. The drone is here to scout, or heading over to a sneaky corner. Proxy hatchery? Oh my gosh, make a proxy hatchery. I haven't seen those in a long time on my channel. Hey, there's a suggestion for you. If you're, oh my goodness gracious, a proxy hatch. I was just going to say, if you want to get your game cast, do a proxy hatch and tell me that's what it is. And then we'll discuss perhaps casting your game. Probe, trying to zap this down. In production is Warpgate. There's a Zealot here, but it doesn't want to leave its post. And a couple Lings trying to deny the expansion. This harassment is kind of insane from Mojo. Why did he... Mojo canceled his own hatch. And is now getting a Roach Warren. Okay, I don't agree with that. Canceling your own hatchery just to put a proxy inside the Protoss base seems like a good idea, but you know what? It's actually terrible. Chrono boosting out. Oh, didn't even wait for Warpgate. Chrono boosting out an Adept. He needs to kill these Lings, but guess what? More Lings are on the way. This should be enough DPS to actually take down the Nexus. This hatchery is going to complete. It's going to be Photon Overcharged, though. Photon Overcharged. There we go. Now turning its attention to the hatch. This is a lot of DPS going down on this hatchery. Is it enough to kill it? I don't really know. The Lings getting a probe kill. Boom. And they have speed now. They want to get a surround on that Adept. Can they get it? They do. They surround her on the top of the ramp. And she gets a couple Lings, but not enough. Not all of them. What's in production here? A Roach. A Roach is on the way, as well as a Queen. Is the DPS enough to get it? I don't know, but I think this Nexus is going to fall. I'm not sure this is a big deal for Vampy, because it's basically one base to one base right now. And a one-basing Protoss feels very, very comfortable against a one-basing Zerg. So, it's hard to see. I think the Queen is going to pop. I think the Roaches are going to pop. Photon Overcharge to get rid of that Roach. Tries to get out of the range of that Circle of Death, and it does. Mothership Core still following it, though, and going to go after the Zealot, I guess. Yes, going to try to kill that Zealot. The hatchery is still alive. The Queen is going to pop out. The Nexus does finally fall. And what is the answer going to be here for our Protoss player? Definitely under siege. Queen, Roach are trying to take down that Photon Overcharge. No, it's not going to happen. Can it escape? No, the Queen does end up dead. Roach comes through to finish off the Zealot, and it does, but ends up dead 2 seconds later. And yep, Roach production out of this hatchery, but with no Queens to inject. There's one inject there, but not that much. There are now, Roaches in the mineral line, actually killing probes. It is 28 to 18, so there are definitely more probes here. Broodlings getting some shots off on the Stalkers as well. Don't actually kill anything, though. And finally, that pylon falls. All the Roaches die as well, except for there's one guy who is left alone with his friends who are in these eggs that are still alive. Nope, Vampy did not forget about you. Yeah, this is a lot of DPS for a single roach to really deal with. The eggs, I don't think will die before they hatch, but any roaches that pop out will quickly be taken care of by VampyWorm, and they get canceled for the refund for Mojo. So right now it's 27 to 18 total supply. VampyWorm is up. Oh, a Ling run by. Oh no, getting right on in. Photon overcharge being used to kill all of those Lings nearby. And the probes take care of the rest of the Lings that try to get into that mineral line. That's something you need to really learn, Protoss players, is that if a couple Zerglings get into your mineral line, if it's not that many, the probes can kill them fairly quickly. They have a lot of HP, they hit fairly hard, considering Zerglings don't have very much health. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to turn your own workers against them, unless there are, you know, 15, 16, maybe even like 10 or 12 Lings. That's a little bit more scary, but if it's just like anywhere from 4 to 6, you should be able to handle it with some pretty good micro there. Lings again heading up for consistent pressure on VampyWorm. This Zerg player does not quit. Continuing to make Lings, not actually making drones whatsoever. An evolution chamber on the way, perhaps once +1 for his Lings. And yep, the Lings show up and say, you cannot establish a second base. We completely disallow it. Is there enough DPS to actually get there? The Lings change their targets, going after sentries, going after stalkers as well. Can they kill any of these sentries? No, at this point they cannot. A good force field knocking Lings away. One sentry does end up falling, but the rest of them, the other one is still alive, and the stalkers are all still alive too. Trailing in the Lings one by one. Zerg players, don't do this. Group your Lings up at the front and then come in as a group, because when they come in 2 by 2 or 1 by 1, they just die. And it's a terrible, terrible feeling. Chasing down that stalker. Pretty good micro from Vampy. Oh my goodness, he kept it alive with 8 hit points there. Well played indeed. This Ling production is not going to do well for Mojo. I am not entirely sure if he's going to win this, and I don't think he is. At 34 to 17 total harvesters. Now 5 drones are in production for Mojo. So keep that in mind. Overlord floating over the abyss here into the dark, dark nothingness. And now the front door is walled off for Vampy, so there's no way Lings are getting through this. Roaches might be able to, but I don't see any roaches in production. Dark Shrine on the way for Vampy. I'm not sure if he feels that he's behind, so he must Dark Shrine, but something is telling him to do that. +1 missile attack is actually the upgrade from this evolution chamber. Resources lost tab. 1,150 minerals and 125 gas for the Protoss player. 2,000 minerals and 125 gas for the Zerg player. And look at this, 8 probes have died, but VampyWorm is still up 40 to 27, so it doesn't really hurt that much that he lost those workers, because it was such a drone cut from Mojo to get those Zerglings up there in the first place and plant down that second hatchery. Chronoboost being used on, looks like both of the Nexus, just getting that probe count up to where he wants it to be. A 2-base attack would be pretty devastating. I'm not sure that Mojo can come back and have the units available to hold that off. Hallucinated Phoenix does a perfect scout to see exactly what it needs to see. It checks out this Overseer is morphing in, does see the evolution chambers are working on something. I don't think he knows what, but he might assume it's Lings based on the number of Lings on the field, which would make sense. But glial reconstitution and upgrades for roaches is going to be the answer for Mojo. So VampyWorm, he's got a robotics facility just finishing. There is warping in somewhere. And here come the Dark Templar. So the question is there is an observer, because I saw it morphing in. And it's right here at the front door. I'm not sure how effective the Dark Templar are going to be, taking a 3rd base at the gold. And also VampyWorm taking a 3rd at the gold. A single Ling going to be able to kill that probe. These probes transferring in a tough spot, but guess what? Adepts are good against Lings. Going to chase them away like the naughty little puppies that they are. More Lings coming in though, and yeah, getting us around on that poor Adept, just overwhelmed by the puppies. Ends up completely dead. Are there enough Lings here to take down this Nexus? He's going to try this again. And it's going to be close. Good force field and a retreat. Yeah. Considering Dark Templar one-shot Lings. And, oh, good force field. Catching about 10 or so Lings inside that trap. And just massacring them. Roach is coming back home as well. I don't want to push out, but right now it's going to be 3-base to 3-base. 20 more harvesters does VampyWorm have compared to Mojo. I really don't think this is happy for anybody, but especially for Zerg players to be in this particular position. That +1, I think it's +1 attack, and it is. Ground weapons level 1 on the way for VampyWorm. He hasn't really had time to upgrade. He's been dealing with the harassment so consistently, but he is. When he has a moment to breathe, he does do so, because he's a pretty darn solid Protoss player, if I do say so myself. Blink on the way. Robotics Bay on the way. Where's that Robotics Bay? There it is. Robotics Bay, probably for Disruptors. Disruptors do one-shot roaches. Do one-shot lings, 145 splash damage on those guys. I was going to say puppies, but I've said puppies a lot in this cast, haven't I? Roaches moving on up, and there are Dark Templar here, there are Archons here. Ugh. Decent force fields catching a single roach with that micro. Another base coming up here for VampyWorm, just slowly advancing towards the Zerg player, and I'm not entirely sure if Mojo even knows that that's there. No, he does not. He doesn't know it's there, so he's going to head home. Taking some shots, and that's weird. Why did that changeling not change? I guess it wasn't close enough to the Phoenix. I guess hallucinated units can trigger changelings as well. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. More stalkers on the way. Disruptors on the way. Well played here by Vampy. Some zealots coming on in. They are changelings. And are they going to pretend to be zealots or are they going to scout? It looks like they're going to scout. That's the two things you can do. Oh, they get stuck. And then the stalker comes down to one-shot these suckers. Good observation. Good awareness there by Vampy, recognizing what was going on there. Continuing to make disruptors. And yeah, 60 to 43 total supply, 4 base. Mojo is actually doing a little better than I thought. I was worried about him continuing to make lings for no reason. A lurker den on the way. And lurkers are starting to morph in here. Gravitic drive for the warp prism is being researched by VampyWorm, as well as +1 armor, as well as the resonating glaives to make the adepts attack faster. So who's getting all the upgrades right now? I do like this Archon play. Disruptors are pretty much the answer for lurkers that the Protoss have available to them. The Purification Nova 2-shots lurkers, they have 200 hit points, so 2 145 hits will take them down. And that's pretty much what you want to do. The Protoss players feel really, really uncomfortable moving in like that into a bunch of lurker spines and just kind of getting smashed in the face. So they'll send Purification Novas in to 2-shot those lurkers and then move in once the lurkers are dead. And yep, that gold base pops for Mojo. So many gold bases on this map. Choosing to go for the gold is Mojo. 2 out of his 4 bases are gold, and 1 out of VampyWorm's 4 are gold. I'm not sure if this is an advantage, if it's enough for Mojo or what, but he has a pretty good army with +1/+1. The lurkers are a big deal. The disruptors are the big deal for VampyWorm. So it's going to be lurker versus disruptor. Who's going to get the better hits off? And in order to wait and see, you'll have to continue to watch, just like me. Observer comes rolling in, says, oh shoot, there's another gold base. Maybe this is a good time to attack. I don't want to let the Zerg player get maxed out here. 55 to 71 total harvesters. Vampy is still up on worker count, but let's take a look at the spending tab. Both players have spent around 9,000 minerals on their army. Observer flies in, unfortunately for it. And yeah, both players, after the initial craziness in the first 5 minutes or so, it's really settled down here after the 10-minute mark. Both players macroing up. Is there a queen at this hatchery? How many queens are there? 3. There's only 3 queens. I don't think Mojo got a queen at this hatch. Seems like a problem. Or this hatch. Where the heck are the queens? 1 there. Oh, and there's 2 here. What the? Mojo. Inject with your queens, you crazy person. Larva available 14, so not doing too bad that way, but I'm not sure what Vampy's waiting for. I feel like the longer he waits, the easier it is for Mojo to come back from the bad position that he was in. Namely, if a Zerg player tries to get in there and kill a Protoss player that early and just fails, it's really, really hard for him to come back. But if he's allowed to macro up like this and get a standing army, Overseers flying on in, maybe they want to contaminate something, sending over a few stalkers to deal with these guys. What are the Overseers doing? Well, they're taking shots anyway, throwing down a million changelings to distract the attacks of those stalkers. Getting focused down. Whack, whack, whack. Poor changelings. They just wanted to scout stuff out, didn't they? So, I don't know. Mojo's doing a good job kind of keeping Vampy on his back foot. Kind of keeping him busy with stuff like changelings, with those attacks. But now Vampy has had enough. He has +2/+1 Archons. All of his other ground units are the same thing. Going to try to move out across the map here and kill the Zerg player. Warping in. Nothing yet, but there's a warp prism, so there should be something coming in fairly soon. And here comes a pretty good setup with the lurkers, and yep, VampyWorm sees the spines. He's just going to walk around the spines, come up and try to kill this gold base. There is another spine crawler, but I don't think it's enough. A repositioning of the lurkers is probably required to save the space. I don't think that's going to happen from Mojo. Roaches and Hydras in the way. Oh, so many are trapped in the back lines there, unable to get through those force fields. Dark Templar trying to kill stuff too, and they can't. They're actually getting killed And yes, the base does end up falling. Disruptors at the front line, a little bit careless with those guys. And gonna push on, and VampyWorm backs on out. Another Disruptor ends up falling. I didn't see really any Purification Nova hits there. Perhaps there were, but I just missed them. Continuing to chase with this Roach Hydra attack. Gonna stand in and fight now. Not even using this Disruptor. What is going on? VampyWorm, he loves Disruptors. There it is. Purification Nova gets in and just kills about 6 Hydras. Oh boy, terrible stuff. Indeed, the Lurkers are trying to stand in and kill these Stalkers, but I think they're severely outnumbered, but no. Surprisingly forcing the retreat from VampyWorm, replanting this base. Mojo knows what he's at, knows what he's doing. This base, however, for VampyWorm is up and running at 71 to 43 total harvesters. The income is just going to be insane. 1,800 minerals compared to 1,000 alone for the Zerg player. Resources lost tab shows 8,000 minerals, 4,500 gas for Protoss, but 9,000 minerals and 2,300 gas for Zerg. Surprisingly limited amount of gas lost, but I guess Disruptors and Archons dying is a pretty big source of gas lossage for the Protoss units. Warping in are more DTs. Wow, he's really sticking on this DT kick here. The remainder of this army limps back home. Another base coming up for Vampy. He is expanding like a boss right now. This base for Mojo just about to finish, and Life-Giving Creep spreads out to the Spore Crawler and the Spine Crawler, giving them what they need to survive and stop bleeding. Is this going to stop bleeding? No, because it's actually super wounded, so never mind. It'll take a while before it stops gushing blood. Because Zerg units have blood. Here comes the Warp Prism. Might drop a unit or two to kill this hatch. Nope, continuing right on into the main base. I think he might want... Yeah, Vampy might do best to stop and drop some units here and then proceed on into the main. I don't think that's what he's going to do, because he's just kind of hanging out, but that's what I would do if I was a Protoss player. And I'm playing the Legacy of the Void campaign, so... I'm a Protoss player, gosh dang it. Campaign is pretty much the same thing as the latter, right? Void Ray on the way. Fleet Beacon on the way. Could you see some carriers? VampyWorm making the tech switch on over into the carriers. He has money to do so. +3 missile attack, though, on the way. Neural Parasite on the way for the Infestors. Neural Parasite, some Archons. Neural Parasite, a Disruptor. That would be amazing. There it is. Warping in some Zealots. And this hatchery is going to fall. I don't think Mojo's even going to try to save it. Nope. No, he is definitely not. Zealots. Scary stuff with a +3 attack, making them so strong. Going after this larva here. Lurker comes in to try to deal with this. Takes a couple slashes before it burrows. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so Lurkers don't do extra damage against light. You see how many spines it actually took to kill that Lurker, and Roaches come on in. The Zealots decide to just try to focus down the hive. Oh, a fungal growth and infested Terran combination to take down that Warp Prism. All the Zealots get killed as well, so that was handled fairly well by Mojo. He did lose this base, which is kind of a big deal. He needs to replant it, and he does. Ka-chink. Taking another base as well. Look at this high level macro play right now. Woo, but I think the carriers might be too much of a problem for Mojo. I think he might need some Vipers with a Parasitic Bomb. If he can get off and Neural Parasite with this Infestor, he might actually do okay. Let's see how things go here. So I guess at this point, I think Vampy's just waiting to see how big his carrier ball can get before he gets maxed out. It's going to be maybe 3 more carriers. It's for a total of 6. He's got 3 more on the way. So that makes sense. Also getting the Protoss air weapons level 2. Zealot hacking away at this hatchery. Maybe send a Roach or 2 to deal with that. Don't send the whole army. Yeah, I think Mojo needs to attack before that carrier ball just gets too scary. And honestly, 6 or 7 carriers is when they start to get really frightening. Gonna use this low ground to lurker up. That's so crazy. Lurkering up onto that plateau. And kill these poor probes that are just minding their own business and trying to do some work for the Kala. Oh, not over there. Oh, probes, what are you doing? Oh, Vampy, I think maybe he felt that was a safe space, but no, 27 probes have died. It's still 69 to 53, so Mojo is definitely still behind in that, but you know what? Did VampyWorm just sack those? I think maybe he just sacked those probes to free up additional supply for carriers. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Overseers, come on in, just to see what the composition is. I think he saw the carriers. Does he want to attack? I don't know. As long as the Hydras can attack what they need to, they might be okay. But here it is, the battle. Carriers overhead, distracting the attack of the Hydralisks so that the Adepts and the Stalkers on the ground could kill everything down there. Fungal growth on all of those Adepts. The Infestors, another fungal growth on top of those units. And a Neural Parasite might be interesting here, but I don't know. Just tearing through all that's left is a handful of units. Moving back actually to the Lurkers. The Lurkers doing a pretty good job on these ground units. Everything is gone there. All that's left are the Carriers and the Void Rays, but it might be enough here. Yes, focusing down the Void Rays does get one there. Does get the Observer as well. There are not many Interceptors left actually, and these Carriers need to retreat. They need to get out of there. There's a Lurker burrowed here, slowing down all the mining at this place as well. Oh goodness. Goodness, Mojo. 26 Hydras on the way. That is his weapon of choice against this carrier composition. Hydralisks all the way. Do they have that +3/+3? They do. They have +3/+3, making them that much better. Lurkers burrowing in. Changelings scouting things out as well. And Lurkers burrowing up ahead. 2 Observers in production. I think Vampy needs to wait for those before attacking. Spining everything that's trying to come in here. There's another attack. Interceptors overhead, but the Adepts are just getting shredded by these Lurkers. The Hydralisks are as well, though. So the ground units are gone, but VampyWorm, oh no, now has the Observer able to see the Lurkers, slowly taking them down. Takes a lot to take down a fully armored Lurker here. 4 total armor on those guys, and they do retreat. Lurker with 6 kills. It is a Slayer. Wants to kill this Nexus all by its lonesome. These probes are scared. They should probably go down here and mine, or possibly up here and mine. That might be a good idea, but the salvation is coming. Don't worry, probes. Yes, being taken completely down. As a new song begins. Are you guys enjoying the music in these casts? Is there something that, I don't know, I might do with or without? Some people don't like it, some people do like it, but it seems like the prevailing opinion has been that they like it, so I'll keep it in for the time being. It doesn't really distract me. Sometimes it can really help. If there's an appropriate song like at a big battle, that would be awesome, right? If StarCraft had the ability to recognize when a large battle was happening and change it to some super intense music that was appropriate, that would be nuts. But as it is, I think it's just kind of on a loop. It changes different songs. I do have the music set to both Brood War Classic and StarCraft 2 music. So you hear new stuff and old stuff, and I hope you appreciate it. Coming on in, the Carriers and the Archons. The Archons smashing through the face a little bit early here. The Roaches are dying, but only 2 Archons left. Corruptors are focusing down Carriers. I just don't know if there are enough Corruptors to do this. The Hydras are trying to snipe. There we go, changing their target to the Carrier balls. Are there enough Carriers here? And you know what? The Hydra count was enough to get through and kill all but 5 of those Carriers. VampyWorm forced to retreat once more. Mojo really hanging on surprisingly well. Trying to use this high ground to escape. No! Another Carrier falls. We're using the high ground. VampyWorm throwing out some bad manner there. He's very upset. Getting saved by Lurkers. The Hydra standing in on these Adepts, and are they going to be able to do it? More Carriers come on in, though. This Hydra ball now is forced to retreat in the face of the additional reinforcements. And yes, they're going to get out of there. Adepts chasing them down as well. They do 29 damage versus light, which is not enough to 2-shot a Hydralisk. You can 3-shot a Hydra with that, but not 2-shot them. More Hydras back here for Mojo, continuing to make Roach. Hydra against this tier 3 composition for VampyWorm, I just don't know. Parasitic Bomb might be a better idea. Mass Corruptor might be a good idea, but here comes the push by Vampy. I don't think he's in a very happy mood, and here he comes down to this base. There is a single Lurker trying to save it. Not going to happen. Does get focused down immediately and destroyed. Spore Crawler trying to save things as well. But all these drones are getting massacred, down to 38 total Harvesters for Mojo. The army coming from the backside. The Hydras and the Roaches are trying to snipe down to this Carrier ball. I say that a lot. It's not really a ball. It's more of a Carrier group. One does end up falling. And I don't think VampyWorm wants to stick around to see what's going to happen to the rest of his Carriers. So he's going to back on out. after laying waste to that base. So the income tab, again, definitely favoring Protoss, although the gas income looks really good for Mojo. He has a lot of Vespene Geysers right now. And I guess VampyWorm has them too, but doesn't feel like he needs it. He definitely is more in need of minerals. Wow, this is turning into a much more of a macro game than I expected. After that early craziness that was the first like 5 minutes, to really settle down into a mass macro is kind of nuts. Transferring or rallying Hydralisks do get completely destroyed there. Long distance mining from Vespene Geysers. Yep, that's probably been happening for a while. Another Nexus coming up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total Nexus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total hatcheries. Sitting on the front door. Do the Hydras, are there enough Hydras to kill this? No, they decide there are not. And they back out. Spore Crawler is getting kills for killing those interceptors. Pretty darn fun stuff. Moving in again, decides to finally just finish off this hatchery. Does VampyWorm, and it does fall fairly quickly, canceling whatever was in those eggs. I'm not sure what they were. More Infestors on the way. Roach Hydra Infestor against Carrier. I guess pretty good. I guess he does have the Lurkers as well to help with the ground army. A lot of Lurkers, actually. Should probably be moving those out. What's the supply? 159 to 139 total supply. Resources lost. 25,000 minerals, 9,000 gas for Protoss, 22,000 minerals, 9,000 gas for Zerg. Both players having lost over 25 workers in this game. Definitely has been just a back and forth battle all the way around. This probe is trying to kill drones. Very brave of you, probe. I think VampyWorm was trying to take this, but there was already a hatchery there. So we're at the point where we're expanding into other people's territory. That's how long this game has been going on. I really didn't expect it to go this long, but that's what you get when you go into replays blind sometimes, is you get surprised. Dancing back is Mojo. Who's going to win this battle? And the drone. The drone wins the battle. Yeah, the army says, we're not going to let you have another base. Coming right on in. Oh, losing the observer to that Spore Crawler before the observers get out of range. Hatchery does end up falling. No mining for you, Mojo, says VampyWorm, and then just backs out once again. This egg will be allowed to hatch. It is an infestor, so that's pretty good for VampyWorm. He doesn't want to lose any more of those infestors. 196 to 156 total supply. VampyWorm just about maxed out. He really needs to go for it here. I'm not sure if he's afraid of the lurkers on the ground or what exactly is going on. How are the upgrades on these guys? +3 attack, +2 shields, and no armor. Air plating. Air plating is on the way now, so that's good, as well as some Tempests pushing in once again. And again, the lurkers are just shredding everything on the ground. Oh, catches all the observers with a fungal growth. Are they going to escape? And no, they are not going to escape. All the observers are gone. Are there any on the field at all? No. No observers on the field for Vampy. He's forced to retreat again. He can't really deal with these lurkers. Queens coming for some transfuses at the same time. Pushing up. Ooh, Tempest shot. First Tempest shot of the game. Deciding to just move. Go for it. A whiff. No. And fungal growth actually catches some interceptors there. Pushing in again. The Roaches and the Hydras. Overseers are getting targeted down. Too much is going on to really call it. Dark Templar at the front line. Fungal growth on top of everything. Hydralisks not focusing on the carriers. Once again, I think that is going to be the vital end blow for Mojo. Yeah, won that game that battle very decisively. Did VampyWorm, forcing a retreat on these infestors. The lurkers destroying pretty much everything on the ground, but VampyWorm is through them. The Queens were here to provide some support, but they're completely gone as well. 199. Mojo saying, "Oh, Dark Templar." Skill. Man, these players do not like each other at all. And it looks like people are just going to be mad at each other for a while now. I don't think Mojo's going to come back from this. Nothing's in production. He's pretty much spending all of his APM typing at this point. About 200 to 129 total APM in this game. Mad about the proxy hatch. Mad about lurkers. Mad about DTs. Everybody is mad in this replay, and I think that's it. I'm going to call it at this point. Mojo does not call the GG, but instead just rage quits, decide to have a long time conversation, and VampyWorm has won the game. Congratulations to him. All right, so that was it. Again, insane early game there by Mojo. I don't know, VampyWorm was in a good spot, but in the end, It really just took a massive, massive battle with carriers, with DTs in there, getting rid of the Overseers and make sure the DTs could actually attack, and that was the win for Vampy. So that's about it. Thanks so much for watching today. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.